Well, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to Bridging the Gap Africa's webinar. This is our second webinar in our series. Thank you for tuning in and joining us today. We love to start off our webinars with a big thanks to our donors and supporters and partners. So thank you. You help us keep the mission going strong. Thank you for your investment in BTGA. Well, we're really excited, I think, right, Harmon, to talk to you all today. I'm Suzanne
As
Sullivan.
always.
That's right. I'm Suzanne Sullivan, a longtime supporter of BTGA and currently the fundraising lead here. And I'm with Harmon Parker, founder and CEO. Hi, Harmon.
Hey, Suzanne, how are you?
Well, thank you. Thank you. Harmon, I think last time we talked quite a bit about your start at Bridging the Gap Africa and your work building bridges in the mid 90s here in Kenya. And we want to kind of carry that forward a bit and get a little more um, interested and excited about the people that you touch every day, which is the walking world. So we'll hear stories from you today and learn a little bit more about the bridges you build. So there will be a Q&A at the end here, and just put your question in the Q&A box on your Zoom toolbar. And I think with that, I will make a plug for our current fundraising campaign, the Oltoro Tua Bridge campaign. We still need to get a lot of those donations in, so do visit our website, bridgingthegapafrica.org, and check out cool videos and stories from people in this community, Southwestern Kenya. And I think that's about it. Do follow us on social media and bookmark our webpage. We do value your time, so we are keen to finish this webinar in 25, 26 minutes. So we just want to also share that. Harmon, get us started. This webinar comes on the heels of a giant conference in the United States that you will be
Yeah.
speaking at. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited well, first of all, thank you. And hello, everyone who's listening. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. And wow, 26 minutes. Got a lot to share. But anyway, I'm happy to be here. And yes, in July, there is a International Bridge Conference in Pittsburgh. And this is the first time I have ever attended an event like this. So I'm really, really excited. And I actually get to present in a breakout session. And Suzanne, would you believe that the name of the room that I'm speaking is called Bridging the Gap or
It's
something like
meant to be. It's meant to be.
But yeah,
Well,
it's going to
we're
be
yeah.
it's going to be
It's
cool, for me to be able to interact with these, brilliant bridge engineers, not being one myself, but I'm hoping to bring a different perspective, and engaging and telling our story about Bridging the Gap Africa and the people who we serve who live in a walking world.
that's
And
right.
yeah, so yeah, I'm really excited about that. It's going to be cool. If you're there, please come listen to my presentation. That'd be great. And I just want to focus in my talk is about the lives that are transformed right through our bridge building program, but for all the engineers around the world
Yeah.
is how important, how incredible they are, and how they save lives every day. Without bridges, eh, wouldn't be. But anyway, I'm really grateful to be there and to share the voice of the walking world.
Awesome. Well, let's get started on today's webinar. And I think we want to, again, set that stage for the kind of people that you support in the communities where you all work. And as we had from our first webinar, I mean, it's not all a wonderful story. The reason why you started your mission, you felt your calling
Mhm.
in bridge building came from a tragedy. And maybe just set the stage for the conversation today about the kinds of people and the challenges they face in their communities and why they need bridges.
Okay, well, thanks. That's a big, big ask, but I'll try to do it briefly, but yeah, the people we have the privilege to serve and who live in a walking world, they depend on footpaths, their feet wherever they go, and that's why I use the term living in a walking world. And it's hard to share some of these stories, but they need to be heard because I am a voice. I am a voice for the walking world. So this one story happened in West Bocot. It's really, really kind of sad, but a family of three, um, husband, wife, and the wife just had a young child, an infant. And like most people in Africa and West Bacot, the mother would put the baby around their back in a sling, in a cloth sling, and then they would walk around and go about and do their business. And then this day they were heading to the market, and there's a market once a week in this whole region, every day of the week. So it goes from market to market, in a big wide area. But this family of three went to the market, and they went to get their supplies for the week. But the market is it's more than just going to Kroger's, right? It's a day of engagement. It's a day of just interacting, connecting with your neighbors who live. You only see them once a week, and connecting with whatever they talk and they dress up. That's the cool thing. And so these young warriors I see in some of these places, they have their hats on, feathers, and it's really quite a huge ordeal. But this one family was heading back. It was late in the afternoon, heading back up to their home up in the mountains of West Pokot.
Mhm.
And it was about a 10-kilometer walk, so it wasn't too far. But anyway, as they started walking home, they looked up, I'd say upstream, but they're close to the river, and they saw the skies were really dark, so they knew that it was raining heavily. And sure enough, it started raining on them as well. So it was really hard, but there was the only crossing of the river was a tree that had been felled, and it just stretched from bank to bank. It wasn't a huge river, but nevertheless, that's what they had to use. And so they had to decide whether they were going to go or not. The water was fast, it was running, you can hear it, they could hear it walking towards the river. And then this log, that's all it was. And unfortunately, it was wet, but they decided that they could do it. And the husband asked the wife just to go ahead and crawl on all four. All right, just crawl across, slowly, slowly, inch by inch, and we'll be fine, okay, with her baby on her back. And as she started to go, she was doing okay. And then she got, pretty much to the middle of the log bridge. And the worst thing could have happened. She
Mhm.
felt the the knot on the cloth that was holding her infant starting to loosen. And the water's rushing underneath, and she just froze. She's panicked, and she yelled out to her husband what was going on. And her husband, he tried to do all he could, but before he could do anything, very tragically, the baby slipped out of the the cloth and fell into the river. And the mother was just distraught, and the husband was so afraid that he was going to lose his wife
Mhm.
too. And so
Right.
he just encouraged her, said, just go. The baby's going to be okay. The baby we'll find the baby. All's going to be good. And so they finally both got across to the other side, and they actually realized what the truth was, and that they lost their baby, their infant, their precious child. And that's, it's really hard for me to share these stories, but I
Mm.
have to. I
Right.
have to tell these
You have to.
stories
You have
so
to.
people can, but it still haunts me today. I think about that, and that's what has motivated me. That's one of the stories of many. And they're the same. There's the same story at every bridge site I've ever worked a lice loft. So that's what motivates me. That's how Bridging the Gap Africa continues to be driven by a life-saving mission. All the other benefits that a bridge contributes to society and to these isolated regions are are just a byproduct um, for the soul of our organization is to save lives.
Well, it is tragic and a story that we don't want any other community to have to go through. And
Right.
it's something that's been, like you said, it's very heartfelt and has been the reason why you made a mission to build bridges in these communities. But you talk about also those other benefits, and I think while there's tragedy, also comes out is hope. And maybe talk a little bit about one of the really cool um, situations that you have been able to get BTGA involved with because of people in the community and what they do, so that it's not just a bridge that's delivered, but you do a lot of stuff around that before the bridge even starts. Tell us a little bit about workers in the communities.
Well, yeah, I always say that you have to build a bridge to build a bridge to build a bridge. So it's a whole process, and you're building bridges wherever you go. But part of before we can build a bridge, we have to fabricate a bridge, right?
Right.
And the designers, our engineers have designed it, but we have to fabricate it. It's all steel mostly. And so there's something in Kenya that is called a Juakali worker. Okay. And you live here, so you know what Jua means, right? It means
That's right.
sun,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Kali has different meanings, but it actually means sharp, harsh, fierce, difficult. So basically, when you put the two words together, it means the sun is extremely hot, extremely hot.
Mm-hmm.
And these are called Juakali workers, and they just set up. They're incredible. They're so talented, but they find a little piece of yard or patch of place to set up business. They do, and anywhere you drive through Kenya, you'll find these Juakali
You
workers
will.
serving. Yeah, they're just brilliant. But anyway, it's like I like to use this term, Jua Kali, all right? It means the sun is so hot. And I always say, this is the equatorial sun, right? So it's like blazing. And I always say, you could cook a chapati on a Jua Kali worker's back because it's so hot. So, anyways, it's pretty extreme. But anyway, you'll find them everywhere. And it's just like an open air industrial area. But a long time ago, we decided intentionally to use Juacali workers just
Mm-hmm.
to support them, and they're just so talented. And we didn't need to go or want to go to a huge steel factory and give them all this design. We wanted to use the local people, and that's what we've done. And yeah, one of my favorite Juacali workers, his name is Patrick Masharia. I'm not sure if you've met him yet, Suzanne.
Well, have.
The, the guy is brilliant. He lives in Kitale in Western Kenya, and he does all of our main fabrication, most of it. And he's just brilliant. You should see his shop. His shop is like just this, I don't know, less than an eighth of an acre, and it's just dirt and whatever. And then he has a little corrugated uh, building that he calls an office. And you meet him, you go down and you see his tape measure kind of hanging out of his pocket, and it doesn't have a retractor on it, and it's rusty, and it's just kind of dragging the ground. And I'm always afraid that he's going to like cut himself with it when he picks it up. But I'll give you a little picture of him.
It
But
gives
he
us
is
a good picture of him.
anyway. He's just such a cool guy. He's been with us for a long time. But one of our engineers met him and asked him to build us an auger stand because
Mm-hmm.
auger to dig piles to put under our foundations in the abutments of the bridge towers. And so the engineer just said, "Okay, Patrick, here's this kind of what I want." And he said, "Design it at a 3-to-1 angle, the auger." But and he didn't have any problem. Engineer went back in a week, and he saw the most beautiful welded, you know, stand with an auger that was perfectly at 3-to-1 degrees, and we still use it today. I mean, and
Awesome.
we just built another one for because we're expanding. But anyway, he's just great, and it's really really cool to be able to engage and support the Juacali sector. It's like, I mean, what they do, Suzanne, what it's like magical. Okay, they can make a welding machine out of nothing. I don't know how to make a welding machine. I couldn't do that. But anyway, yeah, they're just
Yeah, and these workers, they're, as you said, they're all throughout Kenya and in these really remote communities as well. They're not just in towns.
yeah,
You've been able to
everywhere.
really harness talent to uh, provide jobs and support, but also, you're learning from them. Juakali workers in Kenya are not a small group of people. They're quite a powerful group, and I think almost 25% of the GDP for the country. I mean, we are able to work micro at a micro level and also at a Kenya macro level. And our Juakali workers are part of that and part of that supply chain. So it's really awesome that the investment of our donors and partners, supporters, is also being force multiplied, not just to build a bridge, but also to help the
Yeah.
community, to help workers, to help the sector, and ultimately to help Kenya's growth in here in East Africa. Um, you work also internationally, and I think going from micro all the way to overseas. Maybe talk a little bit about a partnership that you've had with a Canadian organization, a quite reputable and large organization that's helped also in that bridge building for these communities.
Well, yeah, I like to kind of say from Juacali, Kenya to Canadian professionals. So that's kind of the shift, and we do have partnerships. But one man, his name is Matthew, and he's a brilliant engineer, and he heard about our work, and he contacted me and asked, uh, if we needed help. I said yes, of course we need some help. So we got talking, and then he said, Harmon, what I'd like to do and suggest. Well, first of all, I shared with him that the bridges that we're building now are only hanging bridges.
Mm.
Okay. Some people call them swinging bridges. They look like this. But those things are fantastic, but they limit out at, whatever, how meters or what the span is. So we needed a suspension bridge. Now, just put in your mind the Golden Gate Bridge, a mini Golden Gate Bridge. All right. So it has super high towers, and it
Mm.
kind of goes like this, and it can span, I mean, just so many meters. And that's what we needed because the need for suspension bridge and floodplains are so important. And so anyway, Matthew decided, called me and said, Armin, what I'd like to do, and I got our firm, it's a very international, well-known bridge building firm. And he said, the firm will donate $100,000 worth of engineering time so we can design a bush builder friendly bridge for bridging the gap Africa. Can you
Say
believe
that
that?
fast.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
awesome.
So yeah, so Matthew and I went back and forth and designs and drawings, and finally we came up with a compromise. It's not easy to design something super simple necessarily to be built in the middle of nowhere, and
Counterintuitive. Yes, it's not easy to design and build in this terrain.
Yeah, but after I don't know how many months, maybe 6 months or something like that, it took a while. But we had the very first Bridging the Gap Africa suspension bridge that was approved and stamped off and ready to fabricate that meets all the standards of North America building codes and also British building codes. And it was like a dream come true for me. Oh my gosh.
And
Um,
and I think you've given this a name in what do we
Well,
call
yeah,
this?
Matthew, he helped us so much. I just can't, and this is about partnership. It's about connections.
Right,
Uh,
right.
just like, I hate to use the term, bridges are connect people
They're
in many ways.
connectors.
Yeah. So anyway, I had to name the bridge after Matthew. So we call it the M-type BTGA suspension bridge in honor of his hard work. And I really appreciate him and all the other engineers that helped us or helped Matthew design this bridge. It was really cool.
Well, that's awesome. And just another example, like you said, of the connection and then that
Did,
macro level coming in and providing, resources, professionalism, really, hard engineering work to be able to provide another resource in your bridge design. And it was quite a hefty support as well. And so I think BTGA was very much blessed to have Matthew and the team work all those hours with you.
well, let me say this, Suzanne. It put BTGA on another. Yeah, it just
Mm,
elevated us to another level, put us on another trajectory so that we could serve more people. Okay, we were limited, as I said, but what they did for us just is indescribable. Really, I really appreciate it.
yeah, and I think
Um,
it's a good opening an example of how folks can get involved with Bridging the Gap Africa. Yes, we encourage donations, but being a partner, being a supporter has many different paths. And in this case, it was human hours to be able to go and do a design. In other cases, it's folks talking about Bridging the Gap Africa. What are some other
right.
ways that people can kind of get involved? I think that could be really awesome for our listeners.
Well, in so many ways. I always like to, I'll tell you what, Suzanne, I'm searching for champions and ambassadors. Let's just get it on the table. I am, I, I want people to come and not only donors, but I want people to be sharing about what we do so that we can increase our impact
Right.
because it's so incredible. So if you're interested in becoming a BTGA ambassador or champion, whatever you want to call it, I would really encourage you to contact us. And we found some new ones recently that we're really, really excited about. So I would say that way. Um, and then if you have some ideas, if you want to become a board member or something like this, whatever, just contact us.
Yeah,
We,
get to know us more and
yeah,
reach out and see how you
yeah.
can get involved. It's awesome to be part of the organization. I know I've been doing that for a long time. Um, we have one question from the audience today, and Harmon, how many of these M-type suspension bridges have you been able to build in Kenya? We're almost at 90 bridges in Kenya, and I know you've been able to use the design in a few
I,
places.
I'm embarrassed. I can't really say that's our country manager's job, but I think we've built 26, and we're in the process of building nine more this year. We've built three. There's one ongoing right now, so we're right on track. So
Awesome,
I, I
awesome.
think I think the M-type bridge we have about 26.
So just one person getting involved has been able to impact 26
Oh,
different communities. It's an awesome story, that alone. Well, I think we're about out of time today. Again, I think a good plug for, getting in touch with us and becoming an ambassador, a champion, a supporter. Just tell the story with us, and we'll, I think, feature a couple of those folks in a later webinar. So stay tuned for that. Continue to follow us on social media. Really appreciate everyone's tuning in today, and thanks again to our donors and partners and supporters. Harmon, why don't you close us out?
Well, I do want to thank all of our listeners as well. And Suzanne, I want to thank you for kind
You,
of
Harmon.
all this together and sharing our story. But you know what I'm going to say. Bridges are beautiful things, right? But they connect more than just places. They connect lives. They,
Mm-hmm.
stories, and they bring hope. Okay, and there's like it's just so incredible the power that a simple bridge has for a community. You wouldn't believe it is helping thousands of people. So anyway, be a bridge.
Be a bridge. Thank you, everyone.